In this video, I'll be showing you how to add realistic light beams. So I'm using this picture for the example and I'll leave the link for it in the description. So the first thing I need to do is make a selection of the highlights. So I'm going to the selections persona, then commands, then select tonal range, and select highlights. So that's now made a selection, but I want that selection to go on a separate layer. So I'm going back to the photo persona, then commands, and duplicate selection. If I go to the layer studio, you can see that the highlights have now been added onto a separate layer. So then if I hold my finger on the screen for a second and let go, I can click deselect. And I'm making sure that highlights layer is highlighted. And I'm going to add a zoom blur. So I'm going to the filters studio, then blurs, and I'm scrolling down to zoom blur. And first you need to figure out where the source of light is coming from. So if this picture, it looks like the light is coming from here. So I'm just going to tap in that area. And then I need to adjust the radius. And I'm bringing it up quite high. And then I can click apply. And now to bring out the light beams, I'm going to duplicate that layer a few times. So I'm going to the move tool. And I'm holding my finger on the screen for a second and then letting go so the options come up. And I'm clicking duplicate. Next I'm highlighting those layers by swiping my finger across. And I'm grouping them together by clicking this. And then I'm rasterising that group so they're all on the one layer. Next I'm changing the blend mode by clicking these three dots and clicking here. And I think screen and add work well, but for this I'm changing it to screen. Right now the light beams are looking really blown out and bright. So to fix it, I can click on this box and bring this node down a bit. Now I want to add a blur to the ends of the light beams because they wouldn't look that sharp in real life. So I'm going back to the filters studio. And I'm turning on add live filter. And I'm clicking on Gaussian blur. And I'm bringing the radius up to around 10 pixels. But this has now blurred all of the light beams, which I don't want. So I'm clicking the plus. And I'm adding an empty mask layer. And if it appears up here, you just need to drag it down onto the Gaussian blur layer until you see this blue line come up. Then using the paintbrush tool with the colour on white and the hardness set to 0, I'm just painting over the ends of the light beams and that will apply the Gaussian blur. And if it's a bit too strong, you can go back to your light beam layer and lower the opacity.